What do you think you showed personally on that last drive when you needed first downs, when you made things happen out of nothing like you've been doing for every time you've been on the field?
Healthy. I'm healthy, and just stay the course all the time. One possession game, things can change. They were rolling on offense. Zach is an unbelievable quarterback. Obviously he's a Hall of Famer. You don't want to give them an opportunity to get the ball back with one possession. So do whatever it takes.
Did I jinx you about the interceptions yesterday when I asked you about it?
No, I mean I don't believe in that stuff anyway. But it's a bad decision. It's a bad ball. Can't happen in that. In that space with the momentum. I think it was 25-13. Just can't happen. It's unexcusable. That'll cost you games. And if we would have lost this one, I would have been sick for 11 months.
How much does it ignite your competitive fire knowing that you're going up against guys, first with Zach, and then you're looking next week at Bo, two established winners over the last decade plus who've won multiple Grey Cups? I understand it's a team sport, but where you are at this part of your career, introducing yourself on a playoff stage,
yeah,
does that get your fire going?
Yeah, it does. Honestly, a little bit. I just know that I'm going to have to perform. I don't necessarily even have to outplay those guys because I do believe in our team more than anybody else probably in the world. I know it's not all on me. It's never been all on me. I'm just there to kind of ignite the energy and help our squad out. But if I need to take over, I can do that as well. But it's going to be a heck of a matchup next week versus Bo. That place is going to be rocking, but we're going to be ready for it.
What about Stevie Scott? You guys have been inconsistent with the running game all season. Not only his performance, but particularly that rugby ball that pushed him into the end zone that gave you guys the lead again.
Yeah, I mean, I said it. I think he's the Derrick Henry of the CFL, to be honest with you. He runs just like him. He's a monster. He's turned into a monster, and his confidence is only growing and growing and growing. Kind of like the rest of our team, honestly. We felt like we had a really good game plan coming in here. We're going to kick the ball out, use it kind of like as a run game for us. All our perimeter screens and all that, frustrate them, get the ball out of their hands, make it feel like we're getting rid of the ball in a second, and then we're going to pound the rock, and that's what we did. It was beautiful.
And what does it take mentally to go for a game like that?
Yeah, feels like it's a pretty good picture of our season, I would say. We started off well. Then it felt like the whole world, sky was falling. Somehow we blink and we're down 2 or whatever it was, 27-25, down 2. But we trust each other. We trust the process, and we just can't let that happen again, obviously. But it just speaks to the character of our team, man. We believe, everyone believes in everyone.
What was going through your mind after those 6 minutes of the game? Not slipping, but just the table starting.
Yeah, it's just holy shit. We got a battle. Not that we thought going into half that we were gonna cakewalk this, but we were hoping obviously for a stop to start the drive and then a score, and that I'm not gonna say puts it out of reach, but it becomes a 4-possession game. That's what you're hoping for, but the football gods didn't want it like that, right? So they put 21 unanswered right away, and next thing we know, we're down 2.
As many guys said on the field that the trash talk was a big motivation. We saw you talking to the bombers after your first one pass. How was it for you inside your range?
Yeah, I don't know. Trash talk is one of my favorite things, right? So if people want to start talking trash, there's a mutual respect, of course, on the field. Willie's a Hall of Famer, right? We shook hands after the game. Everything's all good there, but I was just saying, they woke up the wrong team. Someone like me, I'm not going to back down from. I don't care who it is. I'm not going to back down from anyone. I know my team has my back. If they want me to play with that fire, that's how I'm going to play. As long as I can control it, that's the most important part. But yeah, it was fun. They wanted to play bully ball, so we said we're going to play some bully ball, and it was fun.
Will you respond next week if Hamilton starts doing the same thing? Will you
With
have the same kind of approach?
Trash talk?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if they want to talk, like, I'll probably honestly try and stay out of it. If they want to talk, so be it. We're gonna be ready to play though.
How much of that is, I know the officials are keying in on you a little bit more. You are energized on the sidelines, but I know the officials have told you every so often to kind of calm it down. How much of that is goes into your calculations, knowing that, you know what, a misconduct foul or any other kind of penalty could shift the momentum on a stage like this?
No, totally. And honestly, today I tried to stay as calm as I could. I didn't want to warrant anything that was due for a penalty. I think Calgary, Coach Maas actually yelled at me for the very first time when I got the split unsportsmanlike with Hicks. So I told him that would never happen again, and I'll stand on that. As a leader of the team, you can't. I'm yelling at guys to not get personal fouls or unsportsmanlike conducts. I can't be the one to do it either. But I'm not gonna push the limit. But if they're gonna talk, I'm gonna talk a little bit too.
Because you're undefeated in the regular season, and now you're carrying that into the playoffs out of that field.
It's incredible. It's cool. But it's really it's one win at a time, right? We got two more to go. Obviously, one game at a time. But just keep trusting the process. Keep doing what we do. My routine has stayed the same for 21 weeks now, right? So just keep trusting, keep believing in our guys, and we feel like we got a good chance.
How's the body feeling? After that, you have to run more than you will have in the previous weeks.
Body's good. I'm ready to go. I can play tomorrow.
We're going to take one or two more, if there are one or two more. How soon you start prepping for after?
I'll be in there tomorrow. I don't know what time, but I'll be in there tomorrow.
Now that your first playoff game is out of the way, your first playoff victory is out of the way, what do you think you learned about yourself, if anything, in the third quarter when everything was seemingly falling apart, when they took the lead and then you lead your team to a touchdown, which was, there couldn't have been a more timely drive than that to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, it's everything that we already knew about this team. We've been through so much through this year.
I'm asking about you, not the team.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna bet on myself every single time. I don't care. I'm never gonna be scared of the moment. That's what we preach in this locker room. That's what Coach Maas, he tells me, if you're gonna make a mistake, you're gonna make a mistake aggressively. So it is what it is. I throw the stupid interception. Again, it can't happen. We pride ourselves on taking care of the football. But I know I'm going to bounce back, and I know the team believes that I'm going to bounce back. We're going to bounce back because we're one heartbeat here. We truly believe that, and it starts from the top of the organization down.
I think one last thing. Because in bad times, athletes will question themselves. They're going to say, what's wrong? What's going on? You're on the opposite side. You never lose. You question yourself, what's going on? What is happening to me? You feel I don't know, less, or I don't know how do you feel about this?
No, in the most humble way possible. I feel like I'm built for this. I'm built for this league. I'm built to be the quarterback of the Montreal Alouettes. Our values, what we preach, is everything that I've stood on my entire life. It's what I've been taught since I was a little kid from my dad, my mom, my stepmom, my brother. We teach grit, working your tail off, and it'll never change me. And we have a locker room that's fully bought into the vision, and I didn't have that. I had it in high school. I didn't have that in college. So to have this group, everyone that believes that we're going to win every single game, it's beautiful, and I'll never take it for granted. Because I know groups like this that it doesn't happen, and we've been working on this culture shift since 2023. Cody Fajardo is a huge part of that. That guy's a competitor. He's a winner. He demanded the best out of everybody. That's what I'm trying to push forward, and even trying to elevate our offense even more. But I feel like I'm made for it, and but the work will never stop. As much success as we're going to have, I'll always give everything I have every single day, because that's what my brothers and my teammates and everybody in the organization deserves.
What do you think your dad would say right now?
Oh, excuse my language, he'd probably call me a bad motherfucker again because that's what he believes. But he'd be so proud, and I wake up every day and I do it for him, and I'm so thankful, just so thankful for everything that he did for me.
Merci Davis.
Merci.
What happened in the third quarter? Let's start with that.
They made some plays. I mean, bottom line, a team that's gone to 5 straight Grey Cups, an organization that has, and a team that believes that they're going to, why not us, come through the East, is going to have a response at some point in that game. And so, in my opinion, they made a few plays, got back in the game, and then, the rest of it happened. And our guys continue to fight, continue to believe, continue to stay connected, continue to compete, which is what we pride ourselves on in our locker room.
But when things were starting to unravel, it looked like maybe history was repeating again from last season.
Well, we had talked before the game about that, about our guys would, do a better job with that, and I think they did in this game. For a lot of teams, that probably would have, those thoughts would have creeped in their mind. I think this team's been through so much that they believe they're going to find a way. And they stay connected and they continue. The biggest thing our team does very well is move on to the next play and compete. And that's something we preach in this playoff run. We said we've got to compete on every single play. Forget about the last play, compete the next play. And do that as to your best of your ability, and good things will happen. Great things will happen.
Is there anything you can say about Davis Alexander that you've not said 100 times this season when it was 27-25 for Winnipeg and he leads you to a touchdown, when there's 2 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter and you need first downs and he makes stuff happen out of nothing?
It's what we talk about. It's competing on every play and giving everything you have on every single play. And it's the next play. And put yourself in that moment and believe. And that man does that as good as anybody I've been around. He just believes. There's a belief in him, a competitiveness in him that's unnatural in my opinion. Like, he's just one of those guys that does that to the nth degree. And I was just listening to him talk about was bred in him by his dad. Well, his dad had a huge influence on that. And that man will fight to the end for his teammates and for that locker room on every single play. And it shows. I mean, he's just a competitive individual who believes in the team, believes in his teammates, and believes he can make something happen. And he does.
There was a lot of swearing, though. Did you learn that from you?
I don't know if you learned that from me, but I've tried to be better at that.
Jason, you have been around Ricky, Mike Riley, Trevor Harris, Zach Collaros. Is Davis in that category yet?
Those guys they've been consistent their whole career. They did it at the very beginning of their career, and they've done it throughout. Davis is the infant stages of his career, but he's been consistent. That's what Davis has been. And in order to be undefeated, you have to be consistent. Consistent in your preparation, which I'll put in right in the realm of all those guys you just named, and I'll add Cody Fajardo to that list. Those guys prepared to win every single day. He does that. He's seen that from Cody. But it's very like Ricky and Trevor and Mike, the best ones I've been around. AC, I'll put that. I was around AC. I never thought anybody would prepare better than him, and I watch other guys do it. That's what it takes that first. And then you just got to believe, and you got to be able to play a certain way, but compete. And the compete level in Davis is unlike anybody I've been around. And there's very few guys I know that are that competitive. And I think that's what elevates his teammates, and that's what gives you the belief. And some teams will say, in a 9-game stretch, we want to go 6-3, and that's a good case. 7-2, 8-1. No one says 9-0. We want to keep going 9-0. This team, that's how we're built. We want to win every week. We want to prepare every week, win every week. Why would I concede anything? That's Davis's way of thinking too. I heard him say that. That's what he's built on. That's what he's always thought of. And now he's finally in a locker room of guys that believe that and know that if you compete, you connect, and you work hard, you should expect results. Why not? Every single week. Why do you have to lose? You shouldn't have to think that way. You should think if I'm good enough and I prepare enough and my team's good enough, we should win every week.
But I guess he also has to keep those emotions in check too, to make sure he doesn't get penalty flags for those things.
A part of it is that's maturing, and that's obviously getting plays and games under your belt. I mean, I have a hard time with a guy that's emotional and saying it's a bad thing, because I was very much similar to that. Wear my emotions on my sleeve all the time. but I learned to harness it. And I think Davis does an extremely good job of that. Obviously, you don't want to ever get penalties, and that's a bad thing. But you want to play on the edge. That's what he's good at doing, is playing on the edge. Can you control it? Yes, you can control it. And you've got to make a concerted effort to do that. I think he has done that. And I know he's talked about since the Calgary game, he doesn't want to do that. And that's part of being a leader. You can't preach that way, about being disciplined and don't take these penalties, and you on yourself do it. And that's part of the reason I changed. So, but at the end of the day, be who you are. Be that emotional guy that looks for challenges, looks for things that motivate you. I know this week when Winnipeg was saying whatever they were saying, that turned him to another notch. Great. If that's what motivates you, makes you better, use it. But he doesn't need any extra motivation, I can assure you that.
Scott Milan was probably better than any other coach in this league. You competed against Bo when you were with Edmonton. What kind of challenges?
It's a hell of a challenge. They've had a bye week. I know Scott's the smartest coordinator, head coach I've ever been around. He'll have their guys ready. They'll be very well coached. They'll be disciplined. I mean, they're tied with Winnipeg, who's 8 straight years of being the least penalized team in the league. They're right there with them this year. That's a great compliment to the team and what he's done and the influence Scott's had on them. They won't make mistakes. They'll be ready for us. And I've watched Bo over the years. Bo's a winner. If anybody can relate to probably what Davis has gone through being a winner at the beginning of his career, Bo was that. I've seen it firsthand in the playoffs. So that's a great challenge. It'll be a team that's ready to play, being led by a great head coach and a great quarterback. So it'll present a great challenge. We'll be ready for it.
Do you see any similarities? And I know you lost your last regular season game, but do you see any similarities between what this team is doing and what happened in 2023?
Well, the reason I do is because the majority of that team is from the 23 team. That belief that being hot at the right time of the year, the connections, all the things that we preach in our locker room about culture, it's been born in us from May for this team, for this 2025 version of it. But it was led by the 23 guys, the guys that have been here, that's seen it, that didn't bat an eye when we were 5-7 and in a 5-game losing streak. I tell you all the time, you're here every day with us. You asked me early. You asked me about why our practices. Why shouldn't we look differently in practices? We're in the midst of a losing streak, and I said, no, we will never do that. We'll never be like this around here. We have fun. We work hard. We believe. Games sometimes don't go your way, but you learn from every single one of them, and you get better. I firmly believe our team knows each day we're out there. If we give everything we got, we compete every day. We're a better football team. We're the best version of ourselves now. After these 3 days of practice, we'll be even better. And that's why we'll be ready for the challenge that Hamilton presents us.
You're not too fired up, are you?
Well, I'm always fired up.
What do you want to say about the first quarter and the way things started?
Very impressive. But a start is a start. You got to finish the game. I was equally as impressed with the finish of our team as I was the start of our team. But I love the fight throughout the game. And again, I give them a ton of credit because it takes a lot of resolve to come out of a locker room down what they were down, come back and take a lead at our home and all those things. I mean, I thought that was incredible what they did. But I love the fight of us, and I love the compete that we showcased.
Did you say anything to your team before the game about Sean Oaten?
No, I did not. All I talked about was competitiveness, compete in this game, be focused and disciplined. Now, focus and discipline. Focus is the main thing. So don't worry about nothing else. We had a plan. Obviously, we have a plan for every injury, for anybody that was going. If one American went down, this guy was going up. If a Canadian goes down, this guy was up. So the moment we heard Sean was down, another guy was going up. Our team knew that. We were ready for it.
How did you feel? What was your body reaction when Darnell picked the last moves?
It's hard to describe those emotions. I mean, you've sealed the game, you won a game, and you're on to the next one. But you can have the biggest bank account in the world, and you can't buy that emotion. You can't buy that feeling, and that's why you compete. That's why you play. That's why we work so hard to feel the way we felt, all of us on that sidelines, in this stadium, in this city, in this province, in this squadron that we represent. For those moments, we live for them, and you can't buy them. You got to earn them, and so when you earn them, it's an incredible feeling.
You don't have a big bank account if you're in the CFL.
Well.
What can you say about Stevie Scott's game, especially with the lead he had? practicing fully and all that?
Tremendous. There was about 9 guys on our roster this week that were dealing with something. And at any moment, probably they could be down at some point during that game, and they would have to fight like hell to finish. And they all finished. And Stevie was on top of that list. I mean, to do what he did with what he's dealing with is an incredible feat. Super proud of him, the effort, the coaching he gets from Dave Jackson. That room in particular has been hard hit. We have one guy that played all 18 games. The rest of them didn't make it. And they all continue to fight and have great result. And Stevie did a tremendous job representing that group in this game.
This was the last game at home. Talk to us about the fan crowd thing.
Phenomenal. Merci beaucoup is what I say to them, because they were tremendous all year. When I look at penalties against us, or that we face teams that commit penalties on offense, and it's directly related to the experience, the fan base, the noise they make, the disruptions they have. It's incredible. It's palpable. It's noticed, and it's appreciated by every one of us. We're so thankful to represent them, and so grateful that they come out and provide an experience for us that's unforgettable.
Coach, you're about to go back to Hamilton. You won Grey Cups years ago. Is that factoring in pre-game speech towards next Saturday?
It probably won't, but I know this. I know we feel very comfortable being in that building, and that's just from experience. There's going to be I don't know what the number is exactly on our team that's experienced that. There's a number of them that will have very good feelings when they walk in there, but the work has to be done. You have to believe you're going to walk in that building and come out a victor, but it starts with the belief, and it starts with being comfortable. But we will work and be as competitive as hell this week. We'll go hard in practice. We'll harden our meetings to earn that victory. But when we go to that building, we will look at that. We'll go in that building with a smile on our face. I'll assure you that.
Last one. Was Mustafa Johnson close to playing this afternoon?
I don't know how close he was. I think if he was close, he would have played. So I don't think he was quite ready enough to play. Now next week, I think he will be. So it'll be a matter of whether we can get him to that next step so he can play. But I thought Roberson did an outstanding job of filling in for him, and Wynn did an outstanding job. Our D-line did incredible. The Wall, who didn't practice all week either, did an incredible job being ready.